Welcome to a journey of stillness and discovery, where the gentle rhythm of waves meets the quiet wisdom of patience. Tonight, we travel to a place where time moves differently, where answers come not through searching, but through simply being present. Welcome to Sior Dreams. My name is Celest, and I'll be your guide tonight. Let's drift into the stars, together. Close your eyes, let your breathing slow, and allow yourself to drift into a story that will carry you peacefully toward rest. Picture a beach unlike any you have ever seen. The sand stretches endlessly in every direction, painted in the softest shade of burnt orange, as if the sunset itself has been ground into countless tiny grains. The waves that kiss this shore are not the usual blue or green of earthly oceans, but shimmer with an ethereal golden light that seems to pulse with its own gentle heartbeat. There is no wind here, no harsh sounds, only the eternal whisper of water meeting sand in perfect rhythmic harmony. Above, the sky holds a gentle haze, not clouds exactly, but soft streaks of lavender and gold that shift like silk on the horizon. Somewhere in the distance, you might hear the faint sound of chimes, though no one has ever seen where they come from. The air smells of warmth and stardust, as if this place remembers everything but asks nothing in return. There is a quiet here that isn't just the absence of noise, but the presence of something ancient, something knowing. On this extraordinary beach, something even more remarkable has appeared. Curled in a perfect circle upon the warm orange sand lies a fox, but not one of flesh and bone. This creature is crafted from what appears to be liquid starlight, its form shifting between solid metal and flowing mercury. Its fur catches the golden light of the waves and reflects it back in gentle pulses, creating an aurora of soft colors that dance across its sleeping form. Its breathing is so subtle that one might wonder if it breathes at all. Yet there is an unmistakable sense of life within its metallic frame. Word of this mysterious creature spreads quickly to the nearby village, drawing curious souls from far and wide. They come with eager faces and busy hands, each certain they hold the key to awakening this sleeping wonder. Scientists arrive with their instruments, measuring, calculating, taking readings of temperature and electromagnetic fields. They speak in hushed but excited tones about magnetic anomalies and unknown alloys, their theories growing more elaborate with each passing hour. Engineers bring their tools, carefully examining the fox from every angle, looking for switches or mechanisms that might bring it to consciousness. They tap gently on its metallic surface, listening for hollow sounds or hidden compartments. Artists come with their brushes and cameras, believing that perhaps beauty itself might stir the creature from its slumber. They paint portraits of its sleeping form and compose songs about its mysterious presence. Philosophers gather in circles around the fox, debating the nature of its existence. Is it alive or merely an elaborate sculpture? Does it dream as it sleeps? And if so, what dreams might fill the mind of such a being? Their discussions grow passionate, yet remain respectful, for something about this place encourages contemplation over argument. And yet, despite all their efforts, all their knowledge and creativity and passion, the fox remains in its peaceful slumber. Its breathing continues at the same gentle pace, its metallic form catching and reflecting the golden light in the same hypnotic patterns. Day after day, the visitors try new approaches, new theories, new methods, but the result never changes. Among all these eager souls stands one figure who moves differently through this scene. He is a man worn down by the weight of years and countless struggles, his shoulders bearing the invisible burden of a life lived too quickly, too anxiously. His face shows the lines that come from constant worry, the shadows beneath his eyes speaking of too many sleepless nights. His hands, rough from work and trembling slightly from exhaustion, hang loose at his sides as he watches the others with their busy activities. But he has not come with tools or theories. He has come with something far more precious and far more rare in his world: time. In his world, life had become noise, constant motion. He had once been surrounded by blinking screens, echoing notifications, and calendars filled with obligations. One night, after staring blankly at his reflection in a dark window, he had a dream of golden waves and a fox-shaped light. And when he awoke, something quiet in his chest whispered, "Go." So he did. He walked until the noise disappeared, and when he reached the beach, he didn't speak. He didn't search. He just stood there, watching. And for the first time in longer than he could remember, he simply existed in the moment. As the sun begins its descent toward the horizon, painting the sky in deeper shades of amber and rose, the other visitors begin to pack their instruments and gather their thoughts. They speak of returning tomorrow with new ideas, new approaches, new hope for solving the mystery. One by one, they make their way back to the village, their footsteps creating temporary impressions in the soft sand before the gentle waves wash them away. But the man remains. He settles himself on the warm sand at a respectful distance from the sleeping fox, close enough to observe its peaceful breathing, far enough to avoid disturbing its rest. He has no plan, no strategy, no goal beyond simply being present in this moment. For the first time in years, he allows himself to just sit and breathe and watch. The golden light of the waves creates a natural rhythm that seems to slow his racing heart. The endless whisper of water against sand becomes a lullaby for his anxious mind. As darkness gently embraces the beach, the fox seems to glow with its own inner light, a soft silver radiance that makes it appear almost ethereal in the night. The man speaks, his voice barely above a whisper, not wanting to disturb the profound peace of this place. He talks about nothing in particular at first: the beauty of the beach, the warmth of the sand, the way the waves seem to carry their own light. His words are simple, unplanned, flowing as naturally as the tide itself. As the night deepens and the world around them grows quieter still, the man finds himself sharing thoughts he has never spoken aloud. He tells the sleeping fox about his life, about the constant rush and pressure he has known for so long. He speaks of deadlines that chased him through his days, of problems that multiplied faster than he could solve them, of a world that always demanded more speed, more efficiency, more results. His voice grows softer as he describes the exhaustion that had become his constant companion, the feeling of being a machine that had been running too long without rest. He talks about forgotten dreams, simple pleasures. Afternoons when he used to watch the clouds roll in like slow ships across the sky. Days when silence felt like music instead of a threat. The fox continues its gentle breathing, its metallic form rising and falling in perfect rhythm with the waves. That night, the man dreams for the first time in months. In his dream, he walks through a quiet forest lit only by fireflies. The trees are silver, their bark glowing faintly. And walking beside him is the fox, not asleep, not glowing, but just walking, its head turned occasionally to meet his gaze. It doesn't speak, but it shows him things. Memories, images, a version of himself as a child, chasing lightning bugs barefoot through a field. A teenager, sitting on the roof during a rainstorm. A young man who once paused to watch a sunrise without checking his watch. He wakes with tears in his eyes, but not sadness, just remembering. When dawn arrives with its gentle wash of pink and gold light, the man realizes he has been talking through the entire night. Yet instead of feeling tired, he feels strangely refreshed, as if something heavy has been lifted from his chest. The fox remains exactly as it was, sleeping peacefully, but somehow the man feels as though he has been truly heard. Continued in next message. Continued from previous message. The fox that waited for one voice. He returns to the village for food and rest, but his thoughts remain with the mysterious creature on the beach. The other visitors continue their daily pilgrimages, bringing new devices and developing new theories. They nod politely to the man when they see him, but they are too focused on their urgent mission to pay him much attention. Day after day, the man returns to his spot on the sand. Each evening, as the others depart with their frustrations and their plans for tomorrow, he remains. He has developed a rhythm now, a quiet ritual of stillness and observation. He settles into the same place, watching the same gentle breathing, speaking in the same quiet voice that seems to blend with the whisper of the waves. His conversations with the sleeping fox become deeper, more personal. He talks about his childhood, about times when he could spend entire afternoons watching clouds drift across the sky without feeling guilty about wasted time. He remembers the joy of simple things, the satisfaction of a task completed without pressure, the peace of moments when he had nothing to do but exist. There are evenings when he says nothing at all, just sits, breathes, listens. And on those silent nights, something happens, a deeper quiet, a sacred hush between the heartbeats of the world. He begins to feel that the silence is answering back, not with words, but with presence, the kind of understanding that doesn't need to explain itself. In that stillness, his mind stops trying to fix or figure things out. He just feels alive. The man begins to share his fears, his doubts, his secret shame about never feeling like he was enough. He speaks of the weight of expectations, both from others and from himself, that had slowly crushed his spirit over the years. His voice sometimes breaks as he describes the loneliness of always being busy, always being needed, but never feeling truly seen or understood. Nights blend into days, and days into weeks. The man's appearance begins to change subtly. The deep lines of worry around his eyes start to soften. His shoulders, once permanently hunched with tension, begin to relax. His hands, which had trembled with exhaustion, grow steady and calm. The constant urgency that had driven him for so long begins to fade. replaced by something he had almost forgotten existed within him: peace. The other visitors notice these changes but do not understand them. They see the man sitting day after day with no apparent purpose, making no progress toward their shared goal of awakening the fox. Some whisper that he has given up, that he lacks the dedication and intelligence needed for such an important mission. Others simply ignore him, too focused on their own efforts to spare attention for someone who seems to be doing nothing. But the man is not doing nothing. He is learning the art of presence. He is rediscovering the forgotten skill of simply being. Each day, his conversations with the fox become more honest, more vulnerable. He talks about his dreams, not the grand ambitions that had once driven him, but the simple hopes that had been buried beneath years of striving and struggling. He speaks of wanting to watch sunrises again, to feel the warmth of sunlight on his face without checking his watch. He talks about missing the sound of rain on windows, about forgetting how to laugh without purpose, about losing the ability to sit still without feeling guilty. His voice grows stronger as he admits these things, as if acknowledging them gives them power to heal. And sometimes, just before sleep, he feels the presence of the fox more vividly, like a current of energy in the air. There are nights when he swears the stars pulse in sync with its breathing, when the sea seems to hum a melody meant just for them. One night, in the quiet between words, he whispers, "I think I'm waking up." And even though the fox does not stir, a warm breeze moves gently across the sand. The fox continues its peaceful sleep, but the man begins to notice subtle changes in its appearance. The metallic surface seems to pulse with slightly more warmth. The silver light that emanates from its form appears to beat in rhythm with his own heart. Sometimes, in the deepest part of the night, he almost thinks he can hear it purring, a sound like distant music that resonates in his bones. One evening, as the man sits watching the waves paint their golden patterns on the sand, he realizes something profound has happened. For the first time in longer than he can remember, he is not waiting for something to happen. He is not planning the next day, not worrying about the previous one. He is simply here, in this moment, complete and whole and at peace. The revelation comes to him slowly, like dawn breaking over the horizon. He had been thinking that he was waiting for the fox to wake up, believing that its awakening would somehow provide answers or solutions to the questions that had brought him to this place. But now he understands. The fox was never the one who needed to wake up. He had been asleep, moving through his life like a machine, responding to external demands and pressures without ever truly being present. He had been sleepwalking through his days, his mind always racing toward the next task, the next problem, the next deadline. But here, on this beach of silence and light, he had finally begun to wake up. The man looks at the sleeping fox with new eyes, seeing not a mystery to be solved, but a teacher whose very presence had guided him back to himself. He realizes that all his talking, all his sharing, all his patient presence had been changing him from the inside out. He had been healing without even knowing it, growing stronger and more whole with each passing day. As this understanding settles into his heart like warm honey, the man feels a surge of gratitude so profound it takes his breath away. He looks at the fox, still sleeping peacefully in its circle of silver light, and whispers the words that have been growing in his heart for weeks. "Thank you," he says, his voice barely audible above the whisper of the waves. "Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing me how to be still, how to be present." how to be enough just as I am. The words hang in the air like a prayer, like a blessing, like the most important thing he has ever said. And in that moment, as if his gratitude has been the key that unlocked some cosmic door, the fox's eyes flutter open. They are not the eyes of a machine or a sculpture, but eyes filled with ancient wisdom and infinite compassion. They are the color of liquid starlight, deep and knowing and kind. The fox looks at him with such understanding that the man feels tears begin to flow down his cheeks, not tears of sadness, but of recognition, of coming home. The fox rises slowly, gracefully, its metallic form moving with fluid beauty. It approaches the man with deliberate steps, each paw print leaving a brief shimmer in the sand before fading away. When it reaches him, it stops and looks deeply into his eyes, as if seeing not just his face, but his soul. Then, with infinite gentleness, the fox presses its head against the man's chest, directly over his heart. The touch is warm despite the metallic surface, and the man feels a sensation like electricity, like music, like love itself flowing through him. In that contact, he feels understood completely, accepted wholly, blessed beyond measure. The fox holds this position for a long moment, and the man feels something shift deep within him, some final piece of healing clicking into place. Then, slowly, the fox steps back and turns toward the golden sea. It walks across the surface of the water as if it were solid ground, its paws creating ripples of light that spread outward in perfect circles. The man watches in wonder as the fox moves farther and farther from shore, its form growing smaller but never dimming, always maintaining that soft silver glow. Just before it disappears entirely into the infinite distance, the fox turns back once more and looks at him. And in that final gaze, the man sees not goodbye, but see you again, not ending dash dash, but beginning. Then the fox is gone, leaving only the gentle waves and the orange sand, and the man who has finally learned to be still. He sits for a long time, feeling the warmth of the fox's touch still glowing in his chest, understanding at last that he had never been waiting for the fox to wake up. He had been waiting for himself to wake up, to remember who he was beneath all the rushing and striving and endless doing. The fox had been his teacher, his guide, his reminder that sometimes the most important thing we can do is simply be present, simply listen, simply allow ourselves to rest in the peace of this moment. As the sun begins to rise on what he knows will be his last morning on this magical beach, the man feels ready to return to his life. But he will return as a different person, carrying within him the wisdom of stillness, the power of presence, the peace that comes from knowing he is enough exactly as he is. He rises slowly, his movements calm and deliberate, no longer driven by urgency or anxiety. He takes one last look at the place where the fox had slept, now marked only by a slight depression in the sand and a lingering shimmer in the air. Then he turns toward the village, toward his life, toward a future filled with the possibility of living each moment fully awake. The waves continue their eternal dance against the shore, carrying their golden light and their whispered wisdom to anyone willing to sit still long enough to listen. And in that timeless rhythm, the man has found his way back to himself, back to peace, back to the quiet joy of simply being alive. So now, as the man walks slowly from the beach, and the fox disappears into golden light, you are left with one quiet truth. You were never meant to race through life just to keep up. You were meant to feel it, to notice it, to breathe it in slowly. There is nothing more to solve tonight, nothing more to chase. You've arrived exactly where you need to be. Let the waves in your imagination continue to roll in, soft and slow, each one washing over the shore of your mind, bringing calm, clearing space, making room for peace. There is wisdom in stillness, healing in rest, and you have done enough for today. Let your body sink just a little deeper into your bed. Let your arms grow heavier, your breathing slower. Let the rhythm of your heart gently match the pulse of that faraway ocean, that golden sea, where the fox once slept, where presence itself became the answer. You don't need to do anything to receive rest. You don't need to prove or achieve or explain. You only need to be, just as you are. The man in the story found peace not through force, but through letting go. Through soft words, long pauses, and the sacred act of listening. Let his story remind you that you too can return to yourself tonight. You can release the day now. Let it fall away like grains of orange sand, blown gently back into the sea. All the expectations, the decisions, the questions. They do not need your attention anymore. The fox heard every word, every hope, every moment of honesty whispered into the wind. And even now you are being heard. Even now, as your thoughts begin to quiet, you are seen and known and held. There is nothing missing. There is nothing wrong. You are whole. You are worthy. You are safe to let go. As you lie here now, the beach lives on inside you. You can return to it whenever you need. That sacred stretch of sand, those golden waves, and that feeling of being unhurried and fully present. You can return when the world feels too fast, when your thoughts run too loud, when you're caught in the tide of doing and forget how to simply be. Just close your eyes, breathe deeply, and remember, the fox is still there. Still breathing, still glowing, still waiting, not to be awakened, but to remind you again and again that stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness without noise. It is being without pressure. It is knowing you are already enough. Let the silence wrap around you now like a soft blanket. Let the stars above your bed whisper you into deeper rest. There is no next step to take, no path to follow, only this moment, only this breath. The story may be ending, but your rest is just beginning. With each breath out, release a little more tension. With each breath in, gather a little more peace. Let go of your hands. Let go of your jaw. Let go of the looped thoughts that try to linger. You are safe. You are still. You are surrounded by a quiet that heals. And if at any point your thoughts begin to wander again, just come back to the beach. Visualize it now. The sand is soft beneath you. The sun has dipped below the horizon, but its warmth still lingers in the air. The waves shimmer like melted gold. You hear them breathing. You feel them exhale as you exhale, and just a few feet away, the faint outline of a fox, resting peacefully, reminding you how to slow down, how to stay open, how to fall asleep not in fear, but in fullness. Tonight, there is no race to run, no mountain to climb, no finish line to chase. There is only this sacred space, this deep and gentle permission to rest. You are free to stop reaching, free to stop chasing, free to simply receive the stillness that has been waiting for you all along. So now, let this be your final thought, that healing doesn't always come in noise or speed or effort. Sometimes healing comes in silence, in surrender, in the quiet company of a story that feels like home. Let your next breath be a soft thank you to yourself, to your journey, to this moment. And if you wish, you can whisper those final words the man spoke, softly, to no one and to everything. Thank you for showing me how to be still, how to be present, how to be enough. Let the words drift through you like wind through trees, and then let them go. The night will carry you now. Sleep is near, and you are ready.